The terror began quietly in 1974, Wichita, Kansas, when a killer left his first calling card. The Otero family murders. Joseph and Julie Otero were found strangled in their home alongside their young son. Their daughter Josephine, just 11 years old, had been hanged in the basement. A pattern was born. This killer stalked families for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He called himself BTK, bind, torture, kill. And for the next 30 years, he would haunt Wichita with a string of brutal murders and taunting letters to police. What no one knew? The monster behind these crimes was living among them as a seemingly ordinary man, a church leader, husband, and father named Dennis Rader. BTK's method was calculated horror. He'd case homes for months, learning routines before breaking in when women were alone. Victims were bound with intricate knots, a signature of his Navy training, tortured, and often strangled, sometimes staged in disturbing poses. If family members returned unexpectedly, they became collateral damage, like the Otero boy. After each crime, Rader kept trophies, jewelry, IDs, even photos of his victims' bodies. But most chilling were his communications with police. Poetic letters describing murders in gruesome detail, signed BTK. These taunts became his undoing decades later, when technology finally caught up to his crimes. For years, BTK outsmarted investigators. He stopped killing abruptly in 1991, leaving detectives with a cold case, until 2004, when he resurfaced with a new letter. This time, forensic science had advanced. Police tricked him into revealing himself by asking if they could trace him if he sent a floppy disk. Confident, Rader mailed one, not realizing the disk's metadata would contain his name and the file path, Christ Lutheran Church, where he served as president. Even more damning, detectives matched DNA from a 1978 crime scene to his daughter's pap smear sample, obtained via subpoena. Neither technology existed when he committed the murders. A fatal miscalculation for a killer who thought he'd beaten the system. Rader's arrest in 2005 shocked Wichita. The unassuming church councilman and Cub Scout leader was America's last known Golden State Killer-style home invader. In court, he described murders with eerie calm, even using PowerPoint slides to explain his projects, his term for killings. His motive? A sexual obsession with control and fear. He received 10 life sentences, but showed no remorse, only annoyance at being caught by a floppy disk. The case revolutionized law enforcement. Today, genetic genealogy, using family DNA databases, routinely solves cold cases, ensuring monsters like Rader can't hide forever. BTK's legacy is a warning about the banality of evil. Rader wasn't a shadowy figure. He coached Little League, attended church picnics, and even volunteered for Neighborhood Watch. Yet beneath this facade lurked a man who derived pleasure from suffering. His case also exposed flaws in 1970s policing. Early profilers wrongly assumed BTK was uneducated. Rader had a criminal justice degree, and ignored because victims were working class. Most importantly, it proved that time doesn't protect killers. Advancing technology means even decades-old crimes can be solved. The victims' families finally got justice, but the scars remain. Survivors, like Kevin Bright, stabbed by Rader in 1978, lived with PTSD for years before knowing their attacker was jailed. Others, like the Ateros, never saw closure. Josephine's brother campaigned for years to keep BTK in the public eye until he was caught. Today, Rader plots prison newsletters, still signed BTK, while forensic teams re-examine unsolved cases for his DNA. His story reminds us, monsters look like neighbors. Justice can take decades, and no killer is truly untouchable. One of the most disturbing aspects of the BTK case was Rader's meticulous documentation of his crimes. He kept detailed journals, photographs, and even souvenirs from his victims. A chilling collection that investigators later dubbed his murder kit. These items weren't hidden in some secret lair, but stored casually in his home and office, mixed among family photos and church documents. This duality highlights the terrifying normalcy of many serial killers. They don't look or act like monsters in their daily lives. Rader's ability to compartmentalize his violent fantasies from his suburban existence made him particularly dangerous and difficult to detect, allowing his killing spree to continue undetected for decades. The psychological profile of BTK reveals a killer obsessed with control and ritual. Rader didn't just murder. He created elaborate scenarios, often revisiting crime scenes to relive his crimes. He developed specific signatures, like binding victims in particular ways and taking trophies that held personal meaning. Forensic psychiatrists later determined this behavior stemmed from deep-seated power fantasies that began in childhood. What makes Rader unique among serial killers is his need for recognition. While others might hide their crimes, BTK actively sought attention through his letters and communications with media, craving the notoriety that ultimately led to his capture. The 2005 arrest of Dennis Rader marked a watershed moment in forensic science. The combination of digital forensics, tracing the floppy disk metadata, and familial DNA matching created a blueprint for solving cold cases that's still used today. Investigators worldwide took note of how Wichita police patiently baited Rader into making mistakes. By appealing to his ego, this case proved that even the most careful criminals could be undone by technological progress they couldn't anticipate. The BTK investigation directly influenced how law enforcement approaches long-term serial predator cases, emphasizing the importance of preserving evidence for future breakthroughs. Rader's trial provided unprecedented insight into the mind of a serial killer. Unlike many defendants who remain silent, Rader spoke at length about his crimes, describing them with disturbing detachment. His clinical explanations of murder as projects and victims as factors revealed a complete lack of empathy. Psychiatrists noted his use of bureaucratic language was a coping mechanism to distance himself from the humanity of his victims. The courtroom also became the stage where Rader finally received the attention he'd always craved, though not in the way he'd imagined during his killing years. The BTK case left an indelible mark on Wichita and criminal investigation techniques. Today, the city has transformed from a place haunted by unsolved murders to a symbol of justice delayed but not denied. The investigative methods pioneered in this case have since helped solve dozens of other cold cases nationwide. Meanwhile, Rader's imprisonment has become its own form of psychological study, as he continues to correspond with researchers and true crime authors from his cell. Still trying to control his narrative, but now completely powerless to stop the world from seeing him for what he truly is. For the families of BTK's victims, justice came with complex emotions. While relieved their tormentor was finally identified, many struggled with the realization that he had walked among them for so long. Some found closure in seeing Rader imprisoned, while others were haunted by the knowledge of what he'd taken from them. The case serves as a reminder that the impact of violent crime extends far beyond the immediate victims. It shatters families, terrifies communities, and leaves scars that never fully heal, even after the killer is caught. The legacy of the BTK case extends beyond true crime fascination. It changed how communities view safety, how police investigate serial crimes, and how technology is applied to cold cases. Perhaps most importantly, it demonstrated that even the most cunning criminals can make fatal mistakes when their arrogance outweighs their caution. As forensic technology continues advancing, the BTK investigation stands as both a warning to would-be killers and a beacon of hope for victims' families. Proof that justice can come at any time, even decades later. As we reflect on the BTK case, we're left with sobering questions about human nature and justice. How many other seemingly ordinary people harbor dark secrets? What drives someone to commit such atrocities while maintaining a normal facade? And how can society better protect itself from predators like Rader? We may never fully understand the BTK killer's twisted psyche. His capture provides valuable lessons about perseverance, technological progress, and the enduring pursuit of justice. His story serves as both a cautionary tale and a testament to the determination of those who refuse to let evil go unpunished.